That that was the Clippers game. So what made round 2 much more exciting? What made round 2 much better? Obviously the victory is great and the way that it came about was also fun, if not terrifying because the Wizards like to revel in chaos. But what made round 2 a victory for the Wizards against the Clippers this time is that although the Clippers had insane marksmanship, they have three of the best three-point shooters in the league on the team at the same time, which is just immaculate and annoying. But in the first half, the Wizards were forcing a lot of turnovers, and though the Clippers were hitting threes, the Wizards started to come back a bit. At first, it seemed like the Clippers were just going to do exactly what they did against the Wizards last time and catch fire, which would have been somehow more painful because the Clippers were missing Paul George. But Kawhi Leonard was in his own personal Terminator bag in the first half. Literally only missed like one shot at one point, and it's just like, what are you supposed to do? And then if it's not him, it's Terrence Mann. If it's not Terrence Mann, it's Lou Williams. If it's not Lou Will, it's Luke Kennard. If it's not Luke Kennard, it's Ivica Zubac. Terrence Mann was definitely the main bench star, but that team is deep and scary. But hey, the Wizards actually came out and won because even though the first half did seem like it was going to potentially lead to a blowout, there was a Mo Wagner steal because the Wizards were forcing a lot of turnovers, which was something different and something they had done during their sort of win streak. And of course, with this game going into the All-Star break, you kind of just want to get a win so you're not completely deflated heading into them. And this was a great way to respond to, one, getting blown up by the Grizzlies, and two, a heartbreaking loss by having a really close game that almost resulted in the same situation, but didn't. So yeah, the first half was forcing turnovers, still getting outshot, but going on a mini run towards the end to really give themselves at least a chance. It was single digits, so it's like, okay, then that means that the Wizards can still get in this. And in that second half, Hachimura went on a personal 6-0 run to bring it to within one, and it was like, hey, I know this team. I kind of know this team. So this is surprising, but nice. The defense started to really, really lock in. Not only were they sort of like Hachimura fronted Kawhi, forced a bad pass. The team started doubling on drives and trapping and just out hustling, getting back taps and offensive rebounds. The Wizards were doing their damnedest to make sure that the Clippers were uncomfortable sort of during the third quarter. And the craziest thing happened. You may say, wasn't the crazy thing at the end of the game? But no. Somehow, despite this game being as insanely close as it was in the fashion that it was, the craziest thing of the night was Bertans getting an alley-oop. And this was just about as insane when he put back his own missed three a few games ago. Sir, I'm going to need you to sneak up in that dunk contest the way you sneaking up with these dunks because it's crazy. It's crazy. This is crazy. And I was like, once Bertans gets that, we're winning. Because I believe he got his putback against the Timberwolves and we won that game. So I was like, okay, now we have to win. It's inevitable. It's a fact. It's just like when Denny gets an assist on a Davis 3. If there's a putback by Davis, we're going to win the game. And sure enough, the Wizards won. But what ended up happening too is Kawhi was in foul trouble, which was surprising at times. Like he got to his fourth after forcing Rui to catch his own fourth. Rui was attacking a lot of mismatches and got Kawhi up in the air for a foul, but it was his third. And then when Rui got his fourth, Denny came in and managed to get Kawhi to get a fourth. So that was cool to see those two really playing defense well and attacking. But it was it's just crazy to see the Wizards go on a defensive run. That's not really something that I think is what we have come to expect with this team. Even Brooks made decent moves when he tried to run it small at first, having Rui be a small ball 5. The minute Lou threw in friggin' Ivica Zubac, that's when Brooks said, all right, I'm going to put Lopez in. And the bigs tonight were just Lopez and Wagner, but they both had significant contributions that really helped make this game a competitive one and one that ultimately helped the Wizards pull out. When Lopez would run out of energy, he'd throw Mo in there. Mo's getting steals and taking charges. And really, with Mo, it just comes down to consistency. Really, with this team and its young players, it comes down to being able to solidify those moments and have them be more than moments. Have it be, hey, Mo can at least get 10 and maybe hit like 1 or 2 threes. I don't think that's too unreasonable, because when Mo is stretching the floor like that and making life hell for the opposing team on the other side of the ball, it gives another level to your offense. Obviously, not everyone's going to go on a run at the same time, but that way that they were almost defensively on a string and rotating in the way that they were was really impressive. This game was a back-and-forth affair once it hit the fourth, and at first it seemed like the Clippers were going to take control and run away with it. Lou Williams was hitting threes, Patrick Beverley was hitting threes. It felt like when the Clippers threw the ball up, it was going to go in. To the Wizards' credit, they locked in again and started making shots, and one Mo Wagner 3 later, and the game is in the Wizards' hands in the fourth. After that, Beal hit a shot, which was great because most of the game, or at least at the start of the game, Beal was kind of cold. Russ was on, and he was on fire for the most part, hitting threes, which was crazy, but Beal really came on throughout the game from the first all the way to the fourth. He warmed up further and further until finally, by the time it was fourth, he was cooking, which was great. Then it got super, super tense because it ended up turning into, hey, Russ, we're going to need you to hit some free throws. The late game execution, once again, was terrifying because it was all dependent on who was getting the ball on the inbounds. And Russ kept getting the ball at times. So when the Wizards went on their 9-0 run and stifled the Clippers, ironically, it's funny because at one point the Wizards for 4 minutes couldn't shoot at all and couldn't hit anything, like no score. And then they proceed to do that to the Clippers and hold them down. So it's just like, what is, okay, fine, I'm cool with it. But then again, Clippers get back into it. It's suddenly a 1-point game out of nowhere. And it comes down to Russ free throws. Now, Russ hits one free throw, and it was like a 4-point game. And then Kawhi comes running down, and he drains a 3. Oh, now it's a 1-point game. Davis gets a foul on Ivica Zubac to force him to shoot free throws. And the first free throw, bro, I thought that was going to miss. That joint went all the way up in the sky, bounced off the rim, probably said hi to a couple people in the air, and then rolled in. And it was like, how did he make that? Fine. He makes the second, and then Rui barely gets the ball because they had Russ be the inbounder. And for some reason, everyone ran out because they thought somebody else was getting the inbounds. I'm like, y'all know Beal's getting trapped. Y'all need to have like at least 3 guys down here trying to get the ball. It was a good and smart move to have Russ be the inbounder, but Rui ends up shooting the free throws. He misses the second, and Russ comes in the clutch. He snatches that board, comes out of God knows where, snatches the board, gets to Beal, Beal dribbles it out, and the Wizards win. And round 2 against the Clippers makes it a 1-1 series, which is great. The Wizards showed a defensive side that I don't think was seen. I mean, it was seen during the winning streak. It came when it needed to, but this was almost the Boston game all over again. If Rui doesn't get that inbound, it's a big yikes because the Wizards had to get a stop at that end. And it's not that the Wizards can't get stops, obviously, but it was like they were up like 9. What happened? And yeah, a nice little win to the All-Star break. You want to look at the Wizards as a whole right now, I think they are chaotic. I think some other notes from this game, having Denny run the floor should definitely be a thing that happens more. I love it when he runs the floor. He can just be from one end to the other and make things happen. He scored, and his rebounding I feel like his rebound is a little bit underrated. I don't think people are talking about how he's been able to secure a lot of boards. He's been doing that for a lot of games now. And like, if the very least if your shot isn't falling, you can always do something else. And I mean, you don't have to do what Bertans is doing, where you're just starting to dunk a lot now. But you can get boards and you can run the floor and play defense. With Rui, in terms of creation, I just when he dribbles, it feels like he's just kind of hoping that the defense will just move out of the way and he'll throw up a shot. I feel like he can get better at that. But like I said, I like it when he's attacking mismatches, and they have got to do a better job of getting him that, because a lot of the times it does turn into the Russ and Beal show. And while that can be really good and literally is really good, they're the highest scoring duo on like in terms of duos right now. But it'd be nice to see that ball just get a little bit less grip on it, you know. Raul Neto, great as the first point guard off the bench. Just defensively, so active. I know like there was a Denver game he had like 5 steals, but he's literally just so pesky and frisky, and it's wonderful to see. I like this team that tries on defense and doesn't just sort of just turn over the ball 1,000 times. This team was forcing the Clippers to like make decisions and not have to just run one simple play and easily maul the defense. It was just crazy to see the Wizards kind of like bouncing around on a string. It was a nice win going into the All-Star break. There's going to be a lot of back-to-backs with a lot of really good teams that'll be already like settled in the playoffs. The Wizards are going to have to come out with aggression and fight for like every single game. There's really no games off for the Wizards. Granted that they're like about 4 games away from 500. But if you want to avoid play-in, if you want to make the playoffs, or if you're just trying to get in the play-in, you can't have another Grizzlies game. You got to have games like the Clippers game where you find a way to pull it out, where you defensively lock in. And some of these teams are just so good that I don't know if that's going to be enough, but tonight's win was a good indication of what could possibly be. Maybe this is the true Wizards team. I don't know. I was pretty sad when the way we lost to the Grizzlies, but you know, this game is a good indication and nice way to go into the All-Star break. And Bradley Beal's an All-Star starter, so get to enjoy that. Get to see him be on the front lines. It's always cool to have a Wizards guy in the All-Star game. I remember when Wall first made it, and I just wanted him to win MVP. And now Beal's the starter, so it's going to be cool. So far the season has been all over the place, and the Wizards are a chaotic franchise that loves to revel in chaos. But hey, got a win tonight. All-Star starter. Maybe they might try a little bit in the All-Star game. I don't know. Well, this guy says, I guess that the Wizards are okay at shaving. Don't know how they are at boating. It seems like they're not exactly great at it when it's in LA, but if you bring them to Washington, maybe you just need to be on your home shore, and you can handle some clippers, you know? I think that's all it takes, you know, be in your own house to shave properly. You go to someone else's house, the mirror's all like janky, and the clippers are like kind of musty. Yeah. This is not a razor ad or whatever. I'm not sponsored yet. So, but that's the game. Wizwatch!